Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to day number 4 of the International 3 East Qualifiers. I'm LD. I'm joined here today by AUI 2000, and we're about to find out who the final team to advance into the playoffs is going to be. Yesterday, we saw Chinese domination, particularly from Vici Gaming. They started off a little bit slow versus Mineski, did end up taking that series 2-0, but then they steamrolled their way through Rising Stars. They've already moved on into the next stage. They've joined Rattlesnakes as well as LGD Gaming. Is it going to be a clean 4-0 sweep and a complete Chinese wipe of the group stages, or are we going to see a surprise? That's what we're about to find out today. 3 teams now remain, AUI. It's Mineski, it's MiTH.Trust, and then it's Rising Stars. What do you think, as we sort of look towards the group stage matches today, do you think either of these Southeast Asian teams have a shot?
I actually think that Mineski has the best shot of moving through this group. Their play actually really impressed me yesterday when we were casting, and
why is that?
That puck, I'm a fan.
Is it just they're calling him J-God now? He's known sort of colloquially as Bimbo by a lot of the Pinoy fans. That used to be his nickname. He's now J to most. That's what he gave us as his official name. I don't know if it's quite time to call him J-God yet, but his skills are certainly there.
Yeah, I actually really like him. He actually did an interview with DPM for the stream, I think, and he was really down to earth. Like, I think the Filipino Dota players have a sort of reputation for being arrogant. I actually don't know how to start it, but
I mean, I think it's a bit overblown because, let's be honest, every culture has their arrogant players and aggressive personalities, but generally the Filipino players do tend to be a bit younger, maybe a little bit more boisterous. Dreams, well, they certainly like to run their mouths quite a bit. Mineski isn't really like that, though.
Yeah. No, he seemed really cool in his interview, and I actually went on Twitter to try to find him.
He's adorable too. So. Bimbo he's short, but he packs a punch. We saw that yesterday for sure. So you actually think that Mineski has a pretty good shot. How do you feel about the other 2 teams? We're looking at MiTH.Trust as well as Rising Stars.
I would have to give Rising Stars the advantage over MiTH.Trust or MiTH.Trust.
MiTH.Trust, yeah. Merlini's in the next room. I'm sure he's going to be coming in here and yelling at us for getting the name right. Ice Frog actually had to slap him a little bit yesterday for butchering it so many times. But as you can see, we do have 2 best of 3s remaining in the first stage of the event. This is your final group stage day of action. MiTH.Trust versus Mineski, your first showdown. So one Southeast Asian team guaranteed to be going home, but then they will have their lone shot to move on out of the group stages. The winner of that best of 3 will go on to play Rising Stars later this evening. So we've talked a little bit about today's schedule. We've talked sort of about your predictions or thoughts about who's most likely to advance. Let's go ahead and introduce, I guess, how do you feel about these teams moving into the playoffs? So we look at LGD Gaming, we look at Rattlesnake. Do you feel like these teams actually, or Vici Gaming, do you feel like they have a shot against those teams?
I mean, coming into this tournament, VG went 2-2 versus LGD, and that was really the match that people keep quoting and saying, hey, wow, these teams in the Eastern Qualifiers, they're good. And when you're playing at this high level of Dota, everyone can take series off everyone. You can have bad days, you can have good days, and I don't know. People play matchmaking, you see, like, play varies from game to game. You're not going to have your best play every single game. So I think everyone has a shot at winning this.
Well, I've actually gotten a bit ahead of myself. Gods is probably slapping me down right now from the other room, but we forgot a recap. So we have a recap video for you guys. We're going to take a sort of a summary of what happened yesterday, then we'll dive a little bit more into what's coming up. My bad. Here we go.
Surprised that they didn't dump everything that they had into him.
And it's not like it's a particularly long cooldown spell. Look, it's only 70 seconds. Oh, they're going to look for the Roshan now. It's low. In comes Lakel. Wow. Picks up the Aegis of the Immortal. Look at the timing, the game sense on this one. Shout Tuji on the run. maybe a slight opportunity to punish the lone druid early on was lost, but in the end, bottom lane, there's your rune pickup by R5, R5, Super Beam body block. They want to get in range, they're going to set up a long range out from downtown, jams it in, but is there the follow-up R5, R5? He wants to dodge the light strike array. He won't actually do it, but he still gets the kill. Looks like they'll get it. Air's going to come in. He can be surged. No, they're going to surge the darks here, and can he get there in time? Aegis already picked up Abba, has it. There's your RP, only catches Abba, and it's stolen by SD, who waddles in, looking for an RP to call his own. He catches 3. What a turnaround for MiTH.Trust. Dragon Knight comes back. Air in trouble. Air's gonna melt. This is looking very, very bad. 3 heroes hit the deck. It could be more soon. Xiaotuji the 4th, an absolute massacre. Slow this down. Can they get that gem back? It was actually picked up by R5, R5. They're on the run. Backing catches out. SD, 2 heroes explode in a cloud of screams and pain. And now a burrow strike the other way. There's your ult. Oh my goodness. They're not done yet. Ultra kill for Air.
Might not be able to get the angle on them, and hey, look, that's a TA.
She pops her BKB, she had a blink. Oh, she's going on the whisk, 2 shots, almost puts her down, but Demonic Purge slowing, and Shadow is going to get snagged. The one hero that has the ults to stop that's going to be in trouble, and a 4-second stun, TA goes down. Rubik as well going to fall, and Leshrac running for his life, but all he's got is Ghost Scepter, and that is not going to be enough here. Unless he pops it and keeps him alive for a couple more seconds, he's able to throw some damage, but he goes down. More fighting going on. Wisp, they trapped a Bat Rider.
Or anything like that. But I do like at least 2 points of Shadow Strike. And look at Pop. This is really smart by him. He's at 0 chance of dying basically right now, and he's just gonna either force a glyph or get a free tier 1.
Whenever he feels like taking.
Yeah, he could even go for that quick wave. Oh, there's the Meg.
Magnus is mad. He's
Oh
like,
my
that
god.
was my tower.
Look at this Pop.
Oh, he grabs him. Is he gonna? Oh, he's on cooldown for everything. He's got Shockwave in 1. Will he do it? Oh man, it gets juked. Can Puck stay alive? He blinks away.
There's a 4-staff.
And a 4-staff.
Oh,
Tiger.
orb. Magnus, he would have hit, even if whoa.
You have a second though, they are ready for it.
They are ready for it. There's a vacuum, there's an RP. He's going to catch 3 here. Dark's going to drop the wall here. This may be enough for the team on the right, the Rising Stars, but I don't think so. It's going to get turned around. VG Gaming has already lost 3. Can the Queen of Pain turn this around? Zeus, MJ Game going to town with an entangle. Mofi hits the deck. Now onto the Darks here, as well as Keeper Light. Keeper Light's low. Keeper Light will go down. Queen of Pain with an ultra kill. Only 1 left. It's Xiaotuji. He's silenced up. Is there enough damage to bring him down? He's got no time left. He is going to get a Shikuchi out of this, but Queen of Pain saved that fight. They lost 3 right off the bat in that RP, but they turned it around so well.
That was as good as initiate as you're going to get.
Seed Watch was like, I've got this, I'm baiting you. Oh, he goes straight for an Impel. Really smart fake for the Nexus. And Rubik is there with the blink. Look at easy. Saves the fight. There's your Dream Call with a multiple hero waning rip. And now there's a double kill. Gyro probably comes. 3 heroes killed. FY Rubik, man. That guy is a genius.
Well, apparently I'm not too good at hosting, but W200 me sure knows how to put on a pretty mean recap video. So there you have it, guys. That was day 1 of Group B. Rising Stars taking down MiTH.Trust 2-1. Wasn't really the smoothest performance. We saw that Lakel's Priestess of the Moon made quite a big impact in the tri-lane. The second match of the evening was VG Gaming versus Mineski, and Mineski, they look pretty good even in defeat. They did lose that series 2-0. They're now going to be waiting in our first match of the evening, and last but not least, it was VG Gaming, and a little dose of CTY. They took that convincing 2-0 victory over Rising Stars already into the next group. So anyway, now we're back on track. We've gone through yesterday's games. We'll look forward to today now. We have our first match coming up. It's going to be Mineski versus MiTH.Trust. Let's now introduce the players and the teams. Thank you, Kawa. We're going to jump right into MiTH.Trust. Lakel's the carry player. AUI, yesterday we saw Priestess of the Moon making a little bit of a comeback. Something we've also seen from Mushi in the past for OG Sports. And AUI doesn't like Priestess of the Moon too much. She ain't no Visage, so we'll let it go.
Priestess of the Moon's not my favorite hero.
Not his favorite hero. Well, I like Priestess of the Moon.
Unless she's bottom, and she was bottom.
She's cute. Abba, of course, playing that solo mid role. Mostly, I think it's his puck that we've seen a lot of, but the Dragon Knight's certainly an option for him. Hasn't had the biggest impact. We've seen him play Magnus in the past. TNK, of course, the offlaner for this team, sometimes even rotates into that 4 position if Myth decides to run a jungler like the Enigma. And then, of course, we have R5, that other support for the team, known for playing the initiators mostly. The Earthshaker, the Sand King, and looking pretty badass in his picture, I must say. Last, but certainly not least, it's SD. And, of course, his namesake. He played a pretty good Shadow Demon yesterday. So that wraps up MiTH.Trust. And now we have Hexagons. For MiTH.Trust, a pretty well-rounded team. I didn't really feel like they showed an experience yesterday. To me, they seemed a little bit overwhelmed by the stage.
Definitely not in some of the games, but I feel like that one game that they took off Rising Stars,
Yeah.
they did something really cool in shutting down the trial lane from Rising Stars, and I was really impressed by that. I'm not too sure whether that would go under experience or drafting or sort of a combination of the two, but they definitely knew how to play it. So
It felt like there was an element of luck, too. Twin-Headed Dragon goes to D-Ward. They hit that arrow from very long range all the way from the lane. Not something you can really count on.
I mean, luck is, in a game like Dota, luck is always something that you have to sort of force yourself to be in a position for something lucky to happen.
You create your own luck,
Yeah.
right? Well, with that being said, guys, we've introduced MiTH.Trust. We're running a tiny bit behind schedule, so we'll run right ahead and jump into Mineski. For Mineski, we've got Yanni playing that hard carry role. Known for some more of these aggressive carries. We did see the Drow Ranger yesterday. That was pretty exciting. And, well, with the Shadow Fiend as well, or the Templar Assassin, rather. And Joven, the solo player for this team, can be very explosive. I didn't feel like he had the biggest day yesterday, but he is capable of playing just as well, if not better, than Bimbo. And, of course, speaking of Bimbo, or Jay, as he's also known for those range semi-carries, the Invoker and the Tiny, I think, which isn't listed here, two of his most famous heroes from Dota 1. But he delivered just an absolutely mind-blowing puck performance. Let's see if it will be enough to carry his team forward. Oa, kind of a quiet, studious support who just gets the job done. Rubik, Shadow Demon, nothing too unusual to see here. Not really the flashiest player on the team. And last but not least, it's Fat Dog, or as he's better known, Geo. So as for Mineski, we go to the Hexagon, and I feel maybe a little bit better than this. This is what we had them pegged at going into the match yesterday, and based on their past performance, I think it was reasonable, but they looked a little more polished and confident than what we expected.
yeah, I would definitely give them a +1 to player skill just off that puck alone. That puck was sick. He found solo kills all around the map, even though his team was down by quite a bit. And being able to just have the map movement and game sense to do that is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. And it wasn't enough to carry his team to victory, though. They fell behind really hard early. Granted, that was against Vici Gaming, and I do feel Vici Gaming is the much stronger team in this group. They clearly outclassed everyone else there. So we've introduced the teams. Let's introduce our casters. We're going to have Purge as well as Blitz casting this first best of 3. Again, Mineski versus MiTH.Trust, the match that's coming up next. Purge, Blitz, your thoughts on the match?
I think it could go a lot of different ways. Mineski did show some great skill yesterday, but also MiTH.Trust did take one game off the other Chinese team that they faced. So I think there's a good option for going to a 3-game series. I think I'd be really surprised if it actually didn't.
Yeah, I would be too. I think these are two pretty evenly matched teams. I know that Myth actually won a game and Mineski didn't, but I think Mineski also played the better team in Vici, and Kyle was flashing signs at me and throwing me off. But so I think although they did go 0-2, they did show themselves to be quite capable of winning.
Yeah,
So
and think of that first game that they played yesterday where Vici Gaming got a huge gold advantage, and it took them 15 to 20 minutes to finish the game, way longer than we were expecting. I mean, they kept pushing into the barracks. They did dive a little too far one time, but every other time it was pretty much a force by Mineski, which was completely on their own accord. So I was really impressed with their defense, at least in that game. The second game was a little sloppier, but I think they did a great job. I think they have a good shot of possibly taking this series. Now, keep in mind that whoever does lose this set gets eliminated from the tournament. So, and whoever wins it has to fight all the way through the losers bracket and play Rising Stars next, I believe, which isn't going to be easy.
And you know Rising Stars is just sitting and waiting and probably watching these games thinking, we're going to get as much reconnaissance as we can. We're going to have that chance to sit back and prepare. That's the benefit of having won their first match and starting and dropping down from the winner bracket finals.
And the thing about like a tournament as important as the TI qualifiers is that you can't really save stuff. It's very hard to have 2 strategies prepared for the first 2 games. Not to mention the games yesterday. 2
Right.
strategies prepared for the first game today, and then another 2 strategies prepared for today.
You got to get through MiTH.Trust or Mineski, depending on which team you are, in order to get 2 Rising Stars. And Rising Stars, they'll be rested, they'll be prepared. Looks like all the players are in the lobby, guys. So we're going to take a quick break. But before we do, I do want to get our predictions. AUI, predictions on this series?
I think Mineski will take it. I'm not quite sure 2-0 or 2-1, but I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt and say 2-0 here.
I'm going to go Mineski as well. Busyan Mineski, I believe in you. I know Gods is cheering for you in the other room. It's his day off. He's drinking, and he'll probably be whooping and hollering if you guys put it together. I'm going to go Mineski 2-0 as well. Could be totally off on that. Maybe Lakells is going to pull out something unique like the Potom, but Busyan Mineski, Busyan. Last but not least, casters, your predictions?
I'm going to say 2-1 MiTH. I think Mineski has a good shot, but I think MiTH is the better team right now.
And for me, I know both Davids in the other room are actually both wearing Mineski shirts, right? So they're showing off their support. So
That's right. Luminous is wearing a Mineski shirt.
So is Gods, actually. I saw him take it off before he jumped in a pool, so 2-0 for me, Mineski.
Yeah, Lumi, he may talk a good game, but in the end, he's a Mineski fanboy too. We're all Pinoys today, or we may be if they go on to make it out of the group. That would be quite a story, but they've got a long road to go. MiTH.Trust is a stalwart opponent. Guys, when we come back, we'll have MiTH.Trust versus Mineski. Should be getting underway any second. It's a best of 3, like Perch said, an elimination game as well, coming up right after this.
Workers and reproductives of my colony, but I am the fourth caste, the assassin caste, the caste of one. Yes, bleed, bleed. You can't run from your thoughts. Soon you shall perish, weak and unseen. Suffer. others, if only they saw the truth. An end to it all is all I desire, that I might learn what worse mysteries the impurities veil. The truth of nature is torment, suffering, and decay. But only the wisest see this, which is to say, only the Shrek. 1,000 of your kind have fallen before me. Your desolation and the world's are one. Share my torment.
Hey guys, we're back. We're going to be watching Game 1 of Mineski versus MiTH.Trust. Which one of these teams is going to be led to slaughter?
Like a fine rack of mutton.
Exactly like that. Alright, we're into the game. Mineski, MiTH.Trust. It should be pretty sweet though. I think the teams are pretty equally matched. It could go either way. We had some predictions that were on both sides of the board. Mineski played really well yesterday, played against the better team. MiTH.Trust played against the probably worst team, but did take a game off of them. So I think both teams have a really good shot here. And Lone Druid, not too surprising, going to be banned in the first round.
Yeah, just a top tier all around. I think every time we've casted him, with the exception of that Dreams game, they've actually won. It's won, right? Lone Druid? For me anyways. And it's just been so dominant, just because you can put him anywhere.
Except for against a solo gyrocopter. Then bad things happen.
Apparently.
I saw that yesterday. Yeah, Shadow Demon also banned, very common support at the moment, and even been seeing some mid play, and also a Bat Rider getting banned out by MiTH.Trust. So there's another ban coming out. Who are the heroes that are left over that are super good at the moment?
I mean, there's always Magnus, although teams have been playing better and better against him lately. Although he still has that, that game-changing potential with reverse polarity. I mean, I was gonna say Lifestealer, but there he gets banned. Keeper of the Light as a tier 1 support still exists. But there is also Rubik in this. Nyx, somebody we actually haven't seen banned too often lately, is also available in the pool, and actually Gyrocopter going to be the first pick out.
Alright, so Gyrocopter will round out Mineski's possible trial lane. They can put him solo if they have a hero matchup advantage. But for once, I'm actually really happy we won't see a Lifestealer. I think he's kind of boring to watch at times. I mean, he's just so good in a lot of different lanes as well. Rage Open Wounds is really strong. But it's going to be Gyrocopter versus some other kind of carry. And 2 picks for MiTH.Trust here. I'm expecting at least 1 support hero. I'm sure they'll save their mid. Seems like everybody's saving their mid picks at least until second round in most cases, even pucks and things like that. So could go all over the place here.
Yeah, we still have, as I said, the Mag, the Keeper of the Light, Rubik also exists as an option. If they opt to take a carry as well, I mean, the thing I'm a little surprised about is like the emergence of Gyrocopter as the first pick in the Asian scene. I think this is the second time I've actually seen it in 2 days, right? It was done yesterday as well.
I feel like he's been drafted a lot so far for the qualifiers.
I know before the Asian scene was a little hesitant on the hero, I actually talked to a few players that play. Obviously, I'm referencing LGD International because I can't speak Chinese. And they said that hero actually doesn't do a whole lot, but it seems they've come around on him. And Rubik's actually going to be the pick here.
And a Dragon Knight. Wow, we saw Dragon Knight yesterday out of MiTH.Trust, I believe. They played him in the mid role. He's actually pretty hard to gank if you have at least one level of Dragon Tail. The stun is fantastic. You can push out the waves pretty easily, and having the armor as well is really, really nice. So he's pretty cool with a bottle. Like most mid-bottle heroes, with the exception of like Magnus, are usually really squishy int heroes. So it's kind of nice to be able to combo that tankiness with all the mana regen and the burst heal and stuff.
Yeah, and it's fantastic at pushing as well. The level 1 poison from his ultimate just makes him a veritable pushing machine. And as well as the fact that both mid players on both teams actually specialize in this hero, as we saw.
Yeah, the Dragon Knight's level 1 ulti does 20 damage per second for 5 seconds against building. It means you can just attack the building once, even though you only hit it for a weak amount of damage. It really does add up quite heavily. So Mineski is going to draft a Visage here, another support hero that we've been seeing very often. It's going to round out a tri-lane most likely with Soul Assumption. They'll need probably another hero to set things up because Visage and Gyrocopter are not good setup heroes, but what support are they going to go for? They could just do any kind of ranged stun. Rubik is usually a good lead up. Shadow Demon is out, but they have a couple other picks. TA, they're going to grab their mid already.
Yeah, and actually, Leshrac is something we've seen a lot in these qualifiers, as he does a really good job of pressuring at the towers. That stun, if you have anything to set up for, is so reliable to hit, and it's AoE to go along with that. And he's one of those supports that actually do really well in the mid game. So much damage output if you can position yourself correctly.
And the AoE stun is constantly a threat. It's 2 seconds, which is huge for any stun duration, but the fact that it's AoE on top of that makes it quite powerful. And Leshrac's skill builds has actually kind of been all over the place. We've seen some Lightning builds and some Edict builds. Kind of really depends.